That Christmas morning, I unwrapped a gift addressed to me from my husband's coworker, and inside was a bracelet engraved with words meant for a wife. Not from him. From her. That was the moment I understood everything. My name is Rachel Coleman, and I lived in Denver, Colorado with my husband Tyler and our 7-year-old son Mason. Tyler worked as a project manager at a construction firm downtown, and he often talked about his coworker Amanda, who he called his work wife as a joke. I laughed along at first because it seemed harmless. They spent long hours together on big projects, texting about deadlines, grabbing lunch when meetings ran late. I trusted Tyler completely. We had been married for 9 years, and I believed we had built something solid. I worked as a school counselor, and most of my days were filled with helping other people's kids through hard moments, never imagining my own family needed the same kind of attention. Amanda started showing up in small ways. A comment on Tyler's social media post. A photo from an office party where she stood a little too close. I brushed it off every time, telling myself I was being paranoid. Tyler was affectionate at home, still kissed me goodbye every morning, still remembered our anniversary. Nothing about his behavior screamed warning signs, at least not the kind I was trained to notice in other families. Looking back now, I realize the signs were quiet, but they were there the entire time, hidden in the space between what he said and what he didn't. The first real crack appeared 2 months before Christmas. Tyler started working later, sometimes not coming home until 9 or 10 at night. When I asked, he said the project deadlines were brutal. Amanda and I are drowning in this contract, he told me one night, barely looking up from his phone. I offered to bring dinner to his office once, and he quickly said no, that visitors weren't allowed on site after hours. That answer sat wrong with me, but I let it go, because confronting him felt like admitting a fear I wasn't ready to face. Then came the night I saw a text notification light up his phone while he was in the shower. It was from Amanda. It said, "Can't stop thinking about last night." My hands went cold. When Tyler came out, I asked him directly what that meant. He laughed it off, said it was about a stressful meeting, that Amanda exaggerated everything. "You're reading into nothing, Rachel," he said, sounding almost bored by my concern. I wanted to believe him so badly that I convinced myself he was right. Weeks passed, and the tension in our house grew heavier, even though nothing was said out loud. Mason started asking why Daddy was always tired and grumpy. I started losing sleep, replaying every text, every late night, every excuse. I confided in my sister Danielle, who told me to trust my gut. "You know him better than anyone," she said. "If something feels wrong, it usually is." I wanted to listen to her, but I also wanted my marriage to survive, so I kept quiet and kept watching. Christmas Eve, Tyler came home with an unusually bright mood, talking about how proud he was of finishing the big project with Amanda. He said the whole team was getting small gifts from each other as a thank you. I didn't think much of it until the next morning, when a delivery driver dropped off a package addressed to me. Tyler was in the kitchen making coffee when I opened it. Inside was a silver bracelet with the words "To the one who understands me" engraved on the inside. My stomach dropped. I called out to him. "Tyler, did you know about this?" He walked over, saw the box, and his face went pale. "That's not what it looks like," he said, but his voice cracked in a way I had never heard before. I demanded he call Amanda right there in front of me. When she answered, I put it on speaker. "I told you the marriage was basically over," Amanda said calmly, thinking she was talking to Tyler alone. I didn't think she'd actually open it. The room went silent. Mason was in the living room watching cartoons, completely unaware that his entire world was about to change. That night, after Mason went to bed, I sat across from Tyler at the kitchen table and asked him everything. He admitted the affair had been going on for 4 months. He said it started as emotional support during a hard project, then became something more. He tried to explain it as a mistake that spiraled, but every word felt like another wound opening. I asked him one simple question. Did you ever think about us, about Mason? While this was happening, he couldn't answer. That silence told me more than any explanation could. When I told my parents what happened, my mother's first reaction surprised me. "Are you sure you didn't push him away by working so much?" she asked, and I felt something in me shatter all over again. My own mother questioning my role in his betrayal felt like a second wound layered on top of the first. Tyler's mother called me too, not to apologize, but to ask if I planned to throw away 9 years over one mistake. Even some of my friends suggested therapy for the marriage before I had even processed what happened to me personally. Nobody was asking how I was holding up. Everyone was focused on saving Tyler's image or preserving the family unit, as if my pain was secondary to convenience. I spent the days after Christmas barely functioning. I still went to work because Mason needed stability, but at night I sat in the dark, replaying every conversation, every excuse Tyler had given me over the months. I stopped eating properly. I stopped sleeping through the night. One evening, Danielle came over and found me sitting on the bathroom floor, unable to stop crying. "You have to decide what kind of life you want to model for Mason," she said gently, "not the life everyone else thinks you should choose." Her words cut through the fog in a way nothing else had. That was my turning point. I realized I had spent months shrinking myself, trying to keep peace in a marriage that had already been broken behind my back. I met with a lawyer the first week of January. When I told Tyler, he begged me to reconsider, promising Amanda meant nothing, that he would cut all contact. I looked at him and said, "You didn't choose me when it mattered. I'm choosing myself now." For the first time in months, I felt something other than pain. I felt clarity. The divorce took several months to finalize. Tyler moved into an apartment across town, and Amanda was transferred to a different office after their relationship became known to management. I kept the house, kept my job, and focused everything on rebuilding stability for Mason. Slowly, the sleepless nights faded. I started going for morning runs again, something I had abandoned years ago. I reconnected with old friends who reminded me who I was before I became someone's afterthought. A year later, Mason and I spent Christmas morning just the two of us, opening presents by a small tree we decorated together. He handed me a card he made at school, with crayon drawings of the two of us. Inside he had written, "You always make everything okay, Mom." I held that card longer than I probably needed to, feeling tears form, not from sadness this time, but from something steadier. I finally understood that surviving betrayal doesn't mean forgetting it. It means choosing, every single day, to build a life that no longer waits for someone else's honesty to feel whole.